My name's not Maggie.
Isn't it? What's your name? What's your name then?
I'm John.
John.
B.
What's this place called then? In a field? What are you doing in the field?
Whatever I want.
All right, John. Just asking.
Appleby.
And what is this area called?
My vanna. What are you asking all these questions for, eh?
So, Maggie, how come you're so quiet at the moment? Are you still in the shelter?
My name's not Maggie.
Isn't it? What's your name? What's your name then?
I'm John.
John. John, where are you?
I'm in the field.
In a field? What are you doing in the field?
Whatever I want.
All right, John. Just asking. What do you fancy doing in the field then?
Got chores, ain't I?
Okay. What chores have you got to do then? I'm interested.
Dad's given me some to do. I wanted to be with her though, didn't I?
You wanted to be where?
With Mary Jo.
Who's Mary Jo?
Girl I like.
Oh, okay. Where's she now then?
With some other fellow, innit?
What year is it?
What are you asking all these questions for, eh?
I'm just nosy.
One moment, Alicia was remembering her life as Maggie, and then spontaneously and quite alarmingly, she swapped over to the memory of what appeared to be a kind of foul-mouthed gypsy boy called John, I believe. And it was quite startling, the difference in personality between Maggie and John. John was a very dominant kind of character, very macho.
You seem like a friendly chap. Just thought I'd ask you. I don't come from around here, so I just want to know a bit more.
B.
What's this place called then?
While she was Maggie, she started swatting away bees, and that was quite interesting because in the kitchen, prior to starting filming, we'd had a conversation that she had gone for a regression a few years ago and had been told that she died from a bee sting. I think it was in the Roman time or something, and she obviously had an anaphylactic shock and she died. And what was quite interesting was when she started to feel a little bit unsure, when we were going a bit deeper into her subconscious, maybe bringing up something that she didn't feel comfortable with, she started swatting away the bees. And that, I felt, was suggestion, because we'd actually talked about it prior to starting filming. It was in her immediate subconscious, and so she was a bit maybe nervous and started swatting away the bees. So that was quite an interesting point about keeping language clean, about how sometimes watching a film can start something. It's like when we dream, sometimes we can watch a horror movie and then the dream that we have that night has got an element of that horror movie in it. It's because it's gone into our subconscious and we're starting to bring it up as part of our thought process. One of the things that comes up time and time again is how important it is to keep language clean and to not put ideas in someone's head. We don't do it on purpose, obviously, but sometimes even just having a conversation can start a thought process. So you know, for instance, talking to Alicia about her last experience, and she started thinking about bees. It can be just how you word something. So if I ask someone what are they wearing on their head, they will automatically start looking for a hat. But if I say, what are you wearing? Most people have got hair. You can say, how's your hair? How are you wearing your hair? But I'm not actually sort of saying there is definitely something on your head, because they will start looking for that. That will put an idea in their head, maybe.
Okay, let those images fade. Allow those images to fade. As the images reform, tell me what you're doing, John. You can just take a nice deep breath. And as you take that breath, you can just close your eyes. You can just close your eyes and go back. And as those images reform, just tell me what you're seeing.
Copper.
What's the copper doing around here?
They're looking for someone.
Do you know who they're looking for?
Oh, it's them city folk, innit? Always something to do with them.
So if it's the city folk, where are you then?
Helping Ma.
And what is this area called?
My vanner.
What's it called?
Yeah, caravan.
Oh, it's Caravan. Do you know what town you're in, or village, or where are you?
Appleby.
Appleby. Where's Appleby?
The fair.
Ah, okay. What's the fair then?
Trying to sell my horse.
Ah.
Appleby Horse Fair is a very famous annual event, and it still takes place to this day. Lissy is horse mad, and I think because of that she would have been aware that Appleby Horse Fair is an annual event. When we asked Alicia after the hypnotic session about Appleby Horse Fair, then she claimed to have no knowledge of that annual event.
Where have you bought your horse from then?
I bred him, didn't I?
Okay.
When Alicia was asked whether she or he bred the horses, then she was quite sharp, and it's just possible that John thought that he was being accused of stealing the horses.
If you bred him, where did you breed him? Where's your base?
We're all over the place.
Ah. Do you like to travel?
I'm a gypsy woman.
Okay. What's your name?
John.
John. Have you got a surname, John?
Barra.
Sparrow.
Alicia knows a traveller family with the surname Sparrow, and I was suspicious, therefore, that during her hypnotic session, when asked what her surname was, then the surname that she quoted was Sparrow.
This is an interesting one. Is it autosuggestion again? Has she brought that through her subconscious because she knows that name and she has equated it to being a gypsy? Or do we come back and gravitate towards a family or people that we already know? And that kind of makes it feel like we're in the same spiritual or soul family environment.
Alternatively, it could just be that her subconscious brought up Sparrow because she knew that it was the name of a gypsy family that she was familiar with.
What do you do, John?
Little of this, little of that.
What do you like to do? What's your favourite?
Rabbits.
What do you do with rabbits?
So for me.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know this area. Where's it near?
The fair.
Yeah, where's the fair near?
Appleby Fair.
But I don't know Appleby. Where's Appleby?
Goes to the top of the town.
You know what county that's in?
There's a river. She's going to be there.
Who's she?
Girl I like.
What's her name?
Molly.
Molly. How old's Molly?
I'm going to grab her.
Okay. And what's grabbing then?
She's going to be my wife.
The Gypsy boy was one of my favourite. I absolutely loved the Gypsy boy. He made me laugh, especially when he told me off. Which, you know, if you think about that sort of attitude to women and the kind of environment that he would have been brought up in that era, he probably would have told me not to ask too many questions. So I thought that was quite funny. Her mannerisms changed. Her language base changed. He used a lot of slang. He used a lot of abbreviations. He was quite abrupt. It was quite an interesting character. With regards to details, I was trying to get more details of what he was wearing and all that sort of stuff as usual. Those details weren't very strong, but he certainly was talking about Appleby Fair, which if you were a gypsy in that period and you had horses, you would absolutely know about Appleby Fair. I do understand that Alicia is into horses, so probably would have known about Appleby Fair anyway. So was that in her subconscious? That's a question that we could debate. But certainly a young man of that era who was in that community would have gone to Appleby Fair. She started talking about grabbing, which I think we know now through the programme My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding, that it's about grabbing girls and it's kind of an institution thing, and they do that if they fancy you, and it all leads to being engaged, etc. So could she have seen that on a television programme? Could that have been in her subconscious? Yes, absolutely. But it would certainly have been a big part of a young man of that generation doing that. So that would be, it would be interesting to ask Alicia if she's ever watched any of those programmes or has ever heard that being said in this lifetime. But it's certainly a word that would be very indicative of that lifespan, that lifetime.
How old are you?
16.
Is 16 a bit young to get married?
Where have you been all this time?
You know, I'm a bit confused. What year is it?
50s.
You know what year in the 50s?
My writing ain't good. 8, 5, 5, 1950, 1955.
Mm-hmm. So if it's 1955, what's the music like?
Rubbish.
Don't like it?
I like it when they play the fiddle.
What songs do you like? Is there a particular song that you like with the fiddle?
She's dancing.
Who's she?
Molly.
Ah, you're watching her dance?
Hmm.
Where's she dancing then?
Over there.
Is she dancing with anyone?
No. Okay, get her.
You know her parents? What are Molly's parents going to think about you grabbing her?
Oh my God, I'm from a good family.
What does your family do then?
Provide
What do they do for work?
whatever we can.
So where were you before you came to Appleby? Where did you come from?
In London.
You were in London. You came to Appleby from London.
We were selling something.
Know what it was you were selling?
Shoes.
What type of shoes?
What's it go on your feet?
Well, men's or women's? What are you seeing around you now? What can you see?
Everyone's dancing.
What are they dancing to?
Fiddle, lute. Yes,
What are you doing?
trying to get her attention.
So do you dance?
All right.
'How old are you, John?
16.
And how old's Molly?
16 in 3 days.
Have you known Molly long?
All my life,
What's Molly's surname?
butler.
I'd like you to let those images fade now. Tell me what you see yourself doing.
I'm a dad.
Ah. You're a new dad.
That's my boy.
How old's your baby?
Just come out. They're small.
Is this your first baby?
Yeah. My boy.
What are you going to call him?
John.
What's your surname?
Karen.
What's his mum's name?
My Molly.
How long have you been with Molly? Where are you, John? Where are you living now? Where are you and Molly then? What's up? Why are you coughing?
Fire.
Okay. Where's this fire?
Alicia started coughing quite violently, and this was at the end of her life when she was clearly dying of smoke inhalation in this lifetime that she was in as the boy. And even though when we are in trance, we are experiencing the life through virtual reality goggles, so we still know that we're the person and we're viewing the life, and we know that we're at the end of our life and this is happening, but we're actually not in it. Because she was so deep, I feel that the smoke inhalation actually felt really real. She was actually living it. And some people can feel a form of distress, but it is really unlike actually being there. But she was actually experiencing that in her mind, in her subconscious. She was actually coughing from smoke inhalation. My own experience of being at the end of a life was when I had my very first experience, which was a medieval lifetime, and it was a regression to the 14th century. Surprise, my favourite century. And I knew that I was on laudanum or something like that, a very heavy sedative, and I was in bed and I could feel that there was something wrong with me, like I had something nasty like cancer, or there was something that I was really, really feeling ill about. And I knew I was dying, but I wasn't in the panic or the pain or the anxiety of it, because I was actually looking at it through the eyes of Angelina being that person in that life. So you can absolutely have an experience of being at the end of your life, but it doesn't have to be fearful or scary, which I think a lot of people are worried about when they have a past life regression, when they don't know anything about it, and it isn't scary. It's like people sort of think maybe it's scary if they're going to end up on a battlefield with a knife through them or a sword through them, but you're actually experiencing it. There's a detachment from it. You can be experiencing it and you can get upset, but it's not actually so violent that you can feel it, etc. Because Alicia goes so deep and is quite somnambulant, she was really there. So it was very important to keep on top of that and to not let it go on too far. I'm not saying that it could have been dangerous, because there was no smoke, so she obviously wasn't going to die of smoke inhalation, but it is very important to not keep someone in distress, so we moved her out of that really quickly, just for her own comfort and for safety reasons, really. Okay, let those images fade. Allow those images to fade. Allow those images to fade now. You can fade away, allow the images to fade.
I wasn't excited by Alicia's reaction. I was alarmed because she was coughing very badly and it was out of my comfort zone. So I was pleased that Angelina brought her out of the trance and took her back into real life.
Move forward in time. You're safe. Your subconscious knows that it's safe. The door's right behind you if you want to go through it. And just allow your subconscious to take you. Okay, close your eyes, that's it. What are you seeing? What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What's up? What's happening?
Can't breathe.
Okay.
So I'd like you to let those images fade now.
Alicia had one session, and at one stage in the middle of the session, she spontaneously moved out of one life and into another. In the first session, she started off talking in a really cute fashion as a very little girl and talking as if she was just talking just like a little girl would talk. And I thought that was very believable. She seemed to be very deep.
I was intrigued by her hand movements. When someone's in trance, they quite often use automatic motions. Sometimes people tick, or they can actually do quite big movements. And I did notice her hands. She was doing very specific things with her hands. She looked for the door at one point when she was a little girl, but as the boy, she was kind of doing this quite a lot. And I did ask Nigel and Charlotte whether that was something that she did normally, and I was told no. So I think that was indicative of her being in a trance, because she was actually accessing the subconscious. It's a form of a motor reflex. People can sometimes make jerking movements or tapping, or their foot goes. It's an indication that someone's in a trance. I feel that Alicia is probably somnambulent, which is a form of someone going deep very quickly. And when they go that deep, they can really become the person, because they're really immersed into it. It's so deep in their subconscious. Those are the people who go down into trance very quickly, probably start speaking different languages, speaking in accents, because they really are there. They can sometimes be unaware of who they are sitting in the chair. There's a lot of regression subjects know that they are the person that they came into the room as, and they're sitting in the chair, and they're just sort of seeing it like virtual reality goggles. So they're seeing the life that they're living, they're seeing who they are, but they know that they're still the person sitting in the chair. Someone like Alicia, they go so deep that they've forgotten who they are sitting in the chair. They actually are that person. They're there.
8. You can open your eyes. You can open your eyes. 9, 10. Back here. Mind and body fully refreshed. Back to normality. Back in the here and now. Every part of you back here with me. What time is it? What's the date?
Sunday.
Okay.
Why does my mouth taste so disgusting?
Okay, just take a nice deep breath for me, and as you let that breath out, you're back here in the present, the here and now. All parts of you return to normality.
It was interesting when she came round. She had a taste of smoke in her mouth, and she was sort of brushing it away and sort of said, "Oh, I feel like I've been smoking 60 cigarettes a day," or whatever she said. And that to me is someone who's gone quite deep and is still kind of having that experience afterwards. she wasn't in distress. She was just couldn't understand why she felt she had this dry, smoky mouth. So she's most definitely someone who really goes into the subconscious with that.
Yeah.
Tastes like I've been eating dirt. I haven't been eating dirt. Have I?
Take a step. Take a sip.
It tastes like I've eaten an ashtray. There's nothing in my mouth.
I had to bring her back because she was starting to get into anxiety.
That's disgusting. What is that in my mouth? I feel like I've eaten an ashtray.
Do you remember anything?
Alicia appeared to have been in a fire, and the implication is that fire was what killed her. She was coughing very violently and throughout at the end of the session, and I think that because of that, Angelina ended the session quicker than she might have done. Lizzie appeared to be experiencing the distress of dying of smoke inhalation, and it was alarming to me to watch it, and very believable when she came out of it and she was still coughing. When Alicia came out of the hypnotic trance, then she said that she felt as if she'd smoked 60 cigarettes and was kind of trying to get the taste out of her mouth, and she really did seem like someone that had been in a fire and had smoke in their mouth and couldn't get the taste out of their mouth and was revolted by it.
I remember sitting here and feeling like I was falling asleep, and I kept yawning.
Okay. This person that was obviously 1930, did they die in the war?
No, she didn't. And I actually just texted my mum to ask. Actually, Maggie was still alive when Lucy was born.
Okay.
But
Well, you can dip into people's stories.
Can I try?
Yeah, why not?
So
Go on, have some more water, because I think...
I feel like I've smoked 20 a day.
So you started off as a 4-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And you said you were Maggie, your mum was Margaret, and your sister was Peggy, and you had a brother called Freddie.
That's just a coincidence, surely.
Well, yeah, this is it. But you were named all of the sisters. You didn't say Vera. You didn't say Teresa. You said Freddie, Maggie, Maggie, Peggy, Margaret, your mum, your dad.
Can I get you anything else?
I feel like I've been smoking.
You were hot picking. You went to Kent to hot pick. That's what
They did that in the 30s, big time.
It was massive in our family. So
right.
You were literally Maggie at 4 years old, which was really bizarre because Maggie was still alive when you.
But I've been told that I was. I don't know. That's weird.
It doesn't entirely make sense, but you were being Maggie, and then suddenly you just swapped. And you weren't Maggie anymore. You were Jack.
John.
Jack.
John. Sorry, you were John Sparrow, and you were a gypsy boy, 16 years old, and you had your sights set on a girl called Molly.
Oh, well, I was a player, was I? Did he? And he smoked 50 a day.
No. You had one person, and you remember being 16 and looking at her and trying to steal her.
Grabbing. You know what grabbing is, don't you?
Yeah, taking her
Yeah.
away. And then Molly, when Angelina brought you forward, it was at the point where your son was born. You were going, my boy. And,
that's kind of nice.
She asked, Angelina asked, and who's the mum? Who are you with? And then he said, my Molly, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And then suddenly everything was on fire or burning around you. And you were choking, and you were really physically choking.
Yeah, so I had to bring you back out.
Speaking.
Yeah.
You must have died in a fire or been in
Yeah.
a fire.
I would like to have obviously asked you more questions, but I think there was too much. I've got a sucking sweet. Do you want a sucking sweet?
so cold.
You went really, really deep, and to be totally honest, when you're in really deep hypnosis, you will get cold.
I feel freezing cold,
Yeah,
like my hands are ice.
I think you do need to like cover up and warm up.
That was really scary. I could taste smoke. I could smell it.
Mm.
Even when I woke up, I could smell smoke.
And you I don't mean this in a derogatory term, you were determined when you went into hypnosis to either be scared by bees or something. It's almost like your brain wanted to go there. Bees. Yeah, because twice you went bees like that, so I moved you on. So yeah, that's quite interesting.
Yes.
I think sometimes with our frame of mind, how we go into it. Have you been a bit stressed lately?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes when we're in a bit of a weird frame of mind, we can go to a weird place, if that makes sense. Like find something.
My hands are so cold. I feel like I'm on, like my legs are ice.
When you go into hypnosis, you do get cold.
It's a bit chilly in here.
It's so cold. Seriously, if on my hand, it's like ice.
See, I don't feel like it's that cold.
I feel like I've been standing outside in the snow.
No, you're physically warm.
That's so weird.
And you don't remember anything?
I remember when I woke up, I saw your face and I could smell smoke. Like either I've been smoking or there's a bonfire or something. I could really smell smoke, like everywhere. It smelled really like I was in a bonfire, like bonfire night. There was smoke everywhere.
You ever
and
so
I couldn't
worried,
see.
all right?
I'm worried. I mean, she was properly choking up,
Yeah.
and you think,
I feel like I've got sore throat.
Well, you will do because you've been doing a lot of coughing, and
I could just smell smoke.
even if your mind was thinking that there was smoke there, the fact that you've been coughing, you've probably strained your voice now.
I probably did something up. That's so weird.
We've got a strong somnambulant here.
That's so strange. My hands are so cold.
So you know your last past life regression experience. When you came back, were you stressed about anything there?
I was really terrified actually, and I thought I was being chased by bees, and I was screaming, and they woke me up. But for the whole day, like for 2 or 3 days, I was covered in a rash from head to foot. I looked like I'd been stung by nettles.
Your mind goes there. So there's, if you can go there in the mind, you can go in there in the body, which is why people, can kind of visualize, sports and stuff. They do that when people do track running, they visualize doing the track in their mind. So you obviously do that really strongly.
I think that's why she brought me out, because I was being stung by bees. And I had like marks everywhere.
And you actually started going on about bees. So when you had that situation, have you always been scared of bees, or did it happen afterwards?
I wasn't scared of bees until I had that hypnotherapy.
Okay, so because I had a theory, and I wanted to ask you before I said anything. I think you might have been stung by a bee and died in a past life, because I think you probably, because you kept going back there.
Yeah, someone, the lady that did my hypnogressions before said that I'd been killed by bees.
Because you were determined to go there, and I was trying to, because twice now, wasn't it? Twice in that reading, she said, "Oh, bees," and I moved her on.
So I was a man.
Yeah, you were a man called John with a bit of attitude. He was quite a character, actually.
Was he?
he was assessing you,
Yeah.
Was he a nobleman?
No, he was a gypsy boy.
He was
a farmer.
Yeah. And I was like, I asked a question. He goes,
so he wasn't anyone.
Why are you asking me all these questions, woman?
So I wasn't a rich, handsome.
You might have been handsome.
When you started, you were a 4-year-old child, and you were talking like a 4-year-old child.
That's so weird.
So you whisked your Molly away and you had a baby boy.
It's certainly been the most dramatic session so far.
It's very similar to the Dolores Cannon book that I've been listening to. So there was a little girl, and her voice went like that, and then she was a southern belle, and she had a southern accent. Really,
apparently I was a dirty old tramp.
Well, before that, you were great Aunt Maggie.
Nice.
So,
In
Maggie
my
was alive when I was a baby, so it couldn't have been her. She couldn't have been my past life.
But a genetic
a
memory.
genetic memory is
a
different.
genetic memory. Maggie's not your direct.
Yeah,
No,
she is.
so there's
She's Nanny's sister. She's
So
my
she's
direct
direct.
blood relative.
Right.
there's a thing, I'll look it up in my book because I brought it with me. So the diploma book that I had has got like a list of stuff in it, and one of it is like, is it a past life or is it genetic memory or whatever? And there is, I don't know what he calls it, but there is a thing where you can dip into the memories of another spirit, so you can actually pick up their
She's
memories.
my guardian spirit.
So
She is my guardian
if she's
angel.
your guardian in spirit, you could have been tapping into her memories, and she could possibly have been giving you those memories, or you could just be really in tune with them. It's written better. I'll look it up tonight when I get back.
It might
I'll
just be
let you
another
know.
lady called Maggie. There's hundreds of Irish women called Maggie.
She specified surname Jackson,
Jackson,
and she
yeah.
was naming Freddie. She was naming Peggy. She was saying Margaret.
I just don't know how. I don't really believe. I don't know if I believe it, to be honest.
Well,
It
you don't have
sounds
to.
a bit.
You don't have
It
to
sounds a
believe
bit
it.
odd to me. I know. I was supposed to.
see the video.
I was supposed to be a Roman man, wasn't I? Stung by bees.
No, you said it's up at the top of the town where the river is, or by the river.
Which is spot on for Appleby.
Up
Yeah.
at the top of the town where the river is.
So even if you knew about Appleby Fair in your subconscious, and even if you knew that it was a gypsy fair because somebody
I'm
mentioned
garbage
it,
at geography.
yeah, but why would you have known that it's at the top of the town where the river is?
I don't know. Or I don't know
So
what
that
the
to
reference
me is quite.
Definitely worth
That sounds
Yeah.
specific.
That's very specific, because you know. Lots of things can go into our subconscious without even
really
realizing. You
hurts.
don't have to have a face-to-face conversation about anything. You can be in the same room and somebody can be talking about Appleby Fair, and if you've heard it, it will go into your subconscious and it will come out at a different time. It's possible. It has been proven, because that's how Darren Brown does his shows.
Yeah.
He puts things and people see them in their peripheral vision. So you could have heard, but to know that it's at the top of the town where the river is, that's quite specific.
That was really interesting. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
I mean, it really was interesting, and I hope you recover.
I hope you survive. Thanks, guys.
I think Alicia was a very interesting subject, but I've mentioned before that when I started doing this series, then I thought it would be straightforward, and I've subsequently discovered that it's a lot more complex than I imagined, and Alicia is a case in point. If anybody knows of a family that fits the description of Alicia's memories, we would love to hear from you.